Hi everybody, it's Diane. I'm working on the Season of Wonder large Christmas journal. You may think that I am creating these Christmas journals very quickly, and I am. There's a couple reasons why I need to get them done quickly, which I don't need to go into, but it doesn't mean that that they're not still quality product and creative product. I tend to work quickly anyway, as you know. But I had all of my Christmas stuff. You probably saw some of the videos where you got a glimpse of the amount of Christmas ephemera and fabrics and books and all the stuff that I had. And I had sorted it all out. So that took a day to get everything sorted into piles, and then to go through the piles and like put together a journal kit for myself. That's basically what I did. I decided on the book covers that I would make journals with, and I put together basically some journal kits, pulled out all the stuff that I would consider putting into this certain book, and then I still had all the leftover stuff that I could pull from as needed. So that helped. Once I got that done, that helped move the process along. So for this, I had a pretty good sized pile of things that were for this journal because of the size. Things that would be too big for the other journals. So today I took that pile and set aside the things that I knew I definitely wanted to put into this book. And then I went through that pile and I picked something up and I would go through my pages. This was after I selected and cut and collated my pages. I would just flip through my signature beginnings and determine where I would put it. And I didn't really hem and haw about it. I just think, okay, that page is good, and I put it down. So I spent the morning doing that. Now I'm at my sewing machine. I'm going to do some sewing. So as we go through and start sewing things in, I will talk about, other things that I did in the book. I think before I sew this pocket on, I think I will put something on the edge of this page. I have some more items that were in the pile of things I wanted to use in this journal that I haven't done yet. So we're going to have to do that too. So maybe we'll do that before we go too far in the sewing. These are some pieces that I had previously put into a Christmas December daily. And then when I moved, I took it all apart. Because I don't need it. I don't need to keep it. I mean, I had used it. So anything that was salvageable, like these pieces, I saved so that I can put them. And they're pretty big, so I decided to put them in this journal if I have room. I've used some of the fabric. Oh, this is another from my December daily. I've used quite a bit of this, but I have some more on hand if I need it. I have some napkin if I want to use that. And I cut this from the book itself, the pages of the book cover that I'm using. So I could make something with that. And I have Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer Viewmaster reel. I actually had the envelope and 3 reels. So I used the envelope and I used one of the reels, so I should have another reel around here somewhere. But those are some more things that I can use. But here is the first page, and the name of the book is Season of Wonder, right? Yeah, Season of Wonder. So I cut this off one of the pages. This is from the page, and then I embellished it with a punch and this just white piece that I cut out and rounded the corner. This is one of the fabric pieces, like you saw these. There was one little soldier like this, and there's a stocking. I don't know where the stocking is at the moment. And there was another novelty piece. So those two pieces, the two novelty pieces plus the another flower, I just glued them to some red cardstock. They were cut out with this red border around them. So I cut them out pretty much like they were cut from the fabric. But it's on cardstock, so it can be a tuck spot. Sorry, tuck spot. So, enough talking. Let's do some crafting. I thought maybe I would use one of these just to sew. It doesn't need to be the whole length, but just to sew a little bit on the edge of the paper. This is not a domestic arts journal because it's not about domestic arts. It's about Christmas. But it's made with a craft book, and the style will be similar but a little more refined because I'm using all of these Christmas elements. But I still want it to be kind of a slapdash sort of book. So I'm just going to sew this on the edge here. Well, it would help if I turn my machine on. So I've been working pretty much non-stop on these Christmas books, even on the weekend. I didn't take the weekend off, and it's okay. I'm not burning out on these. I just want to get them done, and then I will go through all my leftovers and put together stuff that I can put in my shop. That's one of the reasons I want to get them done, so that I can get the leftover pieces in the shop while you guys can still use them in time to get your journals done. So I like that. Let's do that on this cover. Oh, there's another novelty piece. It's a rocking horse. The stocking is, I think, a little bit smaller, but I would like to use it in here, so I hope I find it before I'm done. This was from my December daily also. And it's a collage that I put together as a pocket. So it's got a tag and this little pocket here and a number and home for the holidays. And I just took it out as it was in my journal and glued it down here. So there's a little pocket there, and this I need to sew around. It's from the book How to Tie a Bow, and I thought that was appropriate for us crafters. So I'm sewing it to coffee dyed paper, and then it'll get tucked back here. It can't go all the way down because apparently I put too much glue on, or else I went up the side of this when I should have just done the bottom. But anyway, it's fine. It fits in there great. I'm going to sew around this. Someone asked me what kind of sewing machine I use. It's a Singer Patchwork sewing machine. Doesn't have a number on it, it just says Patchwork. I had trouble with the bobbin until I figured out that I really needed to use the plastic ones that came with the machine instead of the metal ones that I like. Because the metal ones fit in there, but must be the weight was not right for the calibration of the machine, because it would mess up the tension once the thread got low in the bobbin. So I switched to the plastic ones, and I don't have any trouble with it. Now I want to put something on the edge here like I did the other one. I hoard these. These came from Switzerland, from my friend Eve. Thank you, Eve. But I need to use them. That's what I have them for. I keep telling myself that. I'll just put a little piece right there. Ah, see how much is left of that? Not much. That's okay. I have plenty of trims. There is no need to hoard. But these are different from what we find around here. At least what I find. Let's go back to zigzag. There's the Viewmaster pocket. So it's kind of beat up at the top, but it's still good. And this fits in it perfectly. It's an open house invitation card. Fits in there, and I put it on as a tuck spot so something can go behind it. I lost my little scissors. They were under my paper. This can go back in here. You'll see that I sewed a piece of paper to one end of the scrapbook paper so it would be wide enough for my journal. I cut the top off, and then I took those pieces that I cut off and mismatched them. This one is a really great paper. I think somebody sent this to me. It's the Jingle Bells song. It's so cute, and it's on a nice sturdy cardstock. We didn't use this one yet. The blue would look nice on this paper, but I want to focus more on... I do have blue papers in here. I could use the blue trim, but I really wanted to focus on more traditional colors in this book. Let's put this one down at the bottom, and I'll use 3 of the sections. Eve has a shop, an Etsy shop called the Snippet Shop. I don't know if she has these sort of trims in there anymore, but she has a lot of cool stuff. And she's from Switzerland, so, you know, it's different from what we get in the US. So go pay a visit to my friend Eve's shop. I have purchased some trims from her, and I have purchased some French postcards from her. So she has a lot of stuff. And this is a tuck spot too. It's fabric, but I glued it to cardstock. So let's see how these look all stacked together. That looks pretty cool, doesn't it? Love those trims. Now I'm going to put a pocket on the front of this. And this is, I received in a Happy Mail some coloring book pages. And like I said in the previous video, I don't say who sent it because I'm always afraid I'm going to get it wrong. Because I want to say Kathleen, but that might not be right. Maybe Virginia. Anyway, somebody sent me some coloring book pages, and they clipped on the illustrated page to show you what colors you might want to use. She clipped that right onto the coloring book page. And I used this coloring book page in this journal, so I'm going to use this as the pocket. If I use something that you sent me, feel free to say so. I don't mind being reminded. I always feel bad that I can't definitively say who sent it. Oh, and I need to tell you guys, I have a new convert to junk journals. The Tioga Downs flea market that I go to in the barns. I've talked about Karen, one of the vendors there, who she lives in my town, and I've gotten stuff from her. I went to her house when she was selling her craft supplies and bought a bunch of stuff probably a couple years ago. And I bought stuff from her booth at the flea market, and she gave me a whole bunch of sewing patterns, which I then put in my shop, and you guys took advantage of that. It's sounding very loud right now. So anyway, her name is Karen, and the last time I went to the flea market, she was there, and Wanda is the one that's usually there, because I think she's the manager of it. And we were talking, and they didn't know that I had a YouTube channel. So I told them how to find me, and I guess when they had downtime that day, they were watching some of my videos. And Karen said she's obsessed with watching my videos. Hi, Karen. So she is excited about making junk journals. So she saw some stuff in my shop that she wanted, messaged me. So that it's ridiculous for her to pay shipping when I can just, one of us can drive just a couple minutes and drop it off or pick it up. So she told me what she wanted, and I delivered it to her. And we talked for a bit, and I asked her if she had any questions, and so she asked me some questions about making junk journals, and it was fun. So we have a convert. So I told her we'd have to get together and do some crafting. Alright, so that pocket's done. And I wanted to tell you about these. There were some pages in this book that were to record your memories, and I thought, well, those are really awesome. The book is from 1990, so here's a 1990 holiday calendar. So it would have been a 2-page spread, but it would be just fun to journal on. And obviously I don't think the dates are going to match this year. I didn't check, but I tore out all of those pages to keep and possibly use. So this one has our 1990 Yuletide photographs. 14 different cameras show up for Christmas dinner. Each one is used a dozen times and every shot's a winner. So there's just a place for you to put 2 of your Christmas photos there if you want to. You could cover this up with 2020, or just cover that whole thing up and put whatever you want to here. And then this side is to talk about your Christmas Eve, what your traditions are, their Christmas Eve menu and stuff like that. So I just folded that and put that in the pocket. I thought those pages would add a really fun element. We'll find something to put in this tuck spot later. I've got a little tuck spot here. This came out of my December daily also. I want to put something on that flap. So I've got some cards and stuff. I think I should put that on there. Maybe with a little piece of fabric. It is really fun to make these kind of journals. I will tell you that. Because I have other stuff to do on this page also. It's fun to just pick stuff up and put it on without worrying too much. And it's fun to use stuff. You use a lot of stuff in a journal like this. Maybe I use too much stuff because I should leave space for you guys to personalize it. But I think I leave space. I sewed right through Santa Claus's face. Obviously, this page is from a Christmas Carol book. It's a vintage book, but it's not so fragile that it will come apart too easily. My goodness, I'm wasting thread. I keep pulling on it instead of cutting it. So I will put something in this tuck spot. Put that little folder in there. Maybe I'll make a little booklet out of this. But for now, I'll just tuck that in there. And we have that. Here is the packaging from a vintage card of Jingle Bells. It was 69 cents, marked down to 59 cents. And I don't know what the 15 is, but I'm going to sew it right there. And this can be a little tuck right there. On this page, I had several of these really long and thin Christmas cards that I wanted to use. They're vintage. And they would only go in this book because this book was tall enough. So this is a piece of vellum that has little snowflakes on it. And I just glued on this strip of the music wrapping paper that I have. And then I just put that card in the pocket. Let's put something on this page. Ouch. Just stuck myself with a pin. Let's use one of these. I like him. He doesn't have anything to attach the string to, so I'm just going to cut the string off, and I'll leave the button on for a decoration. And I will cut that part off. And I'm not going to sew it because it's got tape where I took it apart. I'm going to glue it. I don't want to gum my needle up. Make sure all that tape gets covered with the glue so the glue will dry and then you won't get stuff stuck in the tape. And then, of course, we'll have to find something to put in that pocket. I'm moving past some things that I wanted to do, so let's go back. I want to just add some fabric or lace bits to the edges of some of these papers. Got this piece of plaid. just going to cut it with my pinking shears. Oh, I took this out of something. I have this cute little snowman fabric here that somebody sent me. I wondered if I could cut a snowman out of it and put it there. All the single snow people. Well, these don't overlap, so I can cut that apart. I didn't want it to be as big as two snow people cut out together. I'm going to cut them out together and then separate them. And one can be on the other side of the page. Looks like his little pom-pom is gone on the top of his hat. I just can't get my scissors angled in there to cut that. Oh, now I want to separate them. Oh, that's cute. Since the pom-pom is missing, the tip of his hat is missing, I'm going to just cut that into more of a tip, pointy shape. That looks better. Today is the day that I'm working on this and making this video is Wednesday. So the little golden books haven't even gotten put in the shop yet. They'll be put in the shop on Friday. So by the time you see this video, where I'm making these journals, or this journal, it might be done. But it won't go in the shop until I do the flip through video. And then I'll just have one Christmas book left to make, and I'm looking forward to that one, and it's the book called Hummel Angels with the little Hummel figurines. So I think that's going to be a really fun one to make. And so I'll be getting ready to put leftover Christmas stuff in the shop real soon. And I just found some ideal books, Christmas ideals, at a secondhand store My friend is a vendor at this. It's very, very, very small, and I usually don't find anything I want there. But occasionally I do. And it's right across the street from my post office, which I had to go to today. So I popped in, and my friend is never there when I go. It's always somebody else manning the store when I go in. But all the books that I got were from her. She goes to auctions and stuff. If she had been there, she would have given me a discount. So I could have waited and gone back tomorrow. She'll be there tomorrow. I think this was right here. Isn't that cute? So anyway, there was a hardcover Ideals Christmas book from 1961, I believe, and a softcover, the regular Ideals magazines that we usually find. And that one's newer. It's from 2001, I think. But it's in really good condition, and it's got beautiful pictures. I'll be putting them in the shop, too. I'll just put that on there as a tab. I usually do better in the long run if I take the time to sew the back piece on, instead of trying to sew them both together and then the back piece gets crumpled up. And I take way too long fidgeting with it when I could just sew it in the back and then sew it in the front and be done with it. Sometimes I'm too lazy for my own good. This is from a binder that had Christmas ideas in it, so there were decorations and crafts and cooking and stuff like that in it. And I don't think I had the full binder. In fact, maybe it was just a craft binder and there was just one section of Christmas pages. That's probably what it was, because I don't have a lot of Christmas pages. And I probably used some last year. So there we have that. As you can see, I took the opportunity to use my giant gold doily. And I don't remember if I bought this at a flea market or if somebody sent it to me. So it's even too big, height-wise. So I could have cut it off flat, but I decided to fold it up. And it'll get sewn in this way. And you could tuck something in there if you want. I probably won't put anything in there myself, but you could add something to it if you purchase this journal. This is from a very tall shopping list, so tall that I had to chop off the bottom. So I glued that on there. This is from another craft binder, so it would have gone in the binder like that. I had to trim part of this off, and I folded this part in because it was too wide. So I'm not sure what I'll do with that yet. And this is an envelope from Dreams, Etc. It'll go in the center. Here we have a fabric flip. I'm going to sew that on. Oh, I can't. I will have to glue it on because of what's on the back. So I am going to sew it together because I just had it pinned together. This is a really pretty piece of eyelet fabric and a piece of a novelty Christmas fabric that I got last year. I got it at a flea market, but it wasn't vintage. I don't know how old it was, but not very old. I'm just going to sew it together. And I will just glue it down. So I am going to be putting a lot of fabric flips in my shop too. I have a lot of Christmas fabric flips and lace flips. So you can see, if you don't have a sewing machine, you can easily just glue your flips into place because they will be sewn together when you get them. I can get the fabric flips in pretty soon because all I have to do is pick out a few to put in my final Christmas journal, and then the rest can be put in the shop. Alright, we have a fabric flip. Now this is one of the vintage gift bags that I got at the flea market. They came in different sizes and different prints. I would have loved to have this design for the Hummel Angel book, but it's too big, way too tall. So it's in this journal. It just makes it. And this is one of those pages, the memory keeping pages from the book. And this was a page about for family members to write in their favorite color, their favorite music, their favorite scent, hobby, etc., so that you could take the list shopping with you. So there you go. You have it on a card, or you can just journal whatever you want to on that card. And then it's plain on the back. It's a file folder. I sewed it to a file folder piece. So it's just plain on the back. You can journal there too. I love this one. I'm so glad it fits in this book. I'm gonna make a little square of fabric. Doesn't have to be exact. And I'll find a little something that I can sew to the edge. Just something. Looking through my little somethings. There's a wreath. I think that's too big. This came from wrapping paper. Guess that's a little bigger than I want. How about a postage stamp? It's got a sleigh and a teddy bear and a package. I think just to protect that stamp from getting bent, I will sew it again further out, and it'll help hold that fabric down too. Maybe I'll put that in there instead of where it was. Okay. I think that would look nice there. I'm going to have to cut off a lot of it because this book is narrower than my December daily was. And it's got a tuck spot right here too, so it's a ready-made double pocket. All we have to do is shorten it. Now let me just quickly show you what else I did before I turn the camera off. What I did earlier today. I guess I already showed you everything on this book. This was cut off of one of the really fun 12 by 12 pages, and I like it, just having it on the side there, and you can journal on that. I showed you this part already, and that. This is a piece of acetate that I glued this vintage greeting card piece to. It had already been cut out. This is how I received it, all cut out. And the flames, you know, were pretty fragile, so I glued it to acetate, and there's some carolers at the window, and I just thought this row of candles would be really beautiful there. So that's going to be a pocket there. Then we have a flip. I'll probably sew something to that. There's a lot of fun elements in this book. If I journaled for Christmas, had a specific Christmas journal, I would probably want this one. This is the really fun dime saver Christmas stocking that I found at the flea market, and I had to pay for this, but I'm including it in this journal. It is so cute. It says Merry Christmas to and from, and then it's probably for a child, and the child would get all these dimes, and then there's a spot here that you could put a dollar bill or some sort of bill, money, and or a check in there. So that's really cute. Cayuga County Savings Bank. I'm not sure if I will leave it paper clipped over the page like that. I like it, but I don't want the paper clip to damage it, so it might end up going in a pocket. In fact, I'm gonna take that clip off right now. I think that'll end up going in a pocket. Although I like having it over the page like that. Don't want to damage it. This is a digital vintage gift tag, so that'll get glued to the flap, or sewn, probably along with a piece of fabric. There's a fabric flip that'll go here. And this will be a pocket, and this is a gift tag that opens, so I'm gonna glue that on right there, and you can open it up and write on it. And this is, I showed this in the other video. I made this, so I decided to stick that in there. And this is just a Christmas flash card with the word Christmas on it, so it's just going to get sewn to that flap. And this is just another acetate with snowflakes, so that'll be a pocket here for this really tall Christmas card. showed you that. That will get sewn to this like the other Jingle Bell card did. There's one of the reels, so I'll tuck something in there. I love this postcard. I've had it. I don't remember if I got it at a flea market. I think I picked it up with a bunch of stuff at a flea market. But it's not old. It's Flow magazine. So the picture is old. It's perforated. Maybe somebody sent this to me in a Happy Mail, but I've had it for a few years. I just love this 50s photo of a family. It's got snowflakes embossed on it, like with embossing powder. And I don't know, I guess that makes it a Christmas postcard, but you know, maybe that little boy got a toy train for Christmas. This is a vintage envelope that's going to be sewn into the center. Got a recipe card tucked in there. This is the fabric flip for that page. I glued this together last year, and now it's in a book. It's a gift tag and a coaster. For this long tag, if I don't make a pocket for it, I really like it with this music piece, We Three Kings, and it's got the kings on there. So I thought I would just paper clip it to the flap, and it'll just be there, and you can take it off and write on it. And here is a library pocket that was in my December daily. Something was glued next to it, so there's something there, so I'm going to have to do some collaging right there. So that's what I've done so far, and we're coming along very nicely. And I'm really happy with how this journal is coming together, and I can't wait to see it all put together. That's the exciting thing for me. I hope that you are enjoying seeing how I put these kinds of journals together, and I hope that you are looking forward to seeing the finished product in my shop. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Have a creative day. Bye-bye.